They locked him away for 27 long years. Why? Because he dreamed of freedom, not just for himself, but for his people. When he finally walked free, he didn't seek revenge, he offered forgiveness. And that man became the president of the very country that once called him a criminal. His name was Nelson Mandela. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, in a small South African village called Mavezo. His father, Gadla Henry Mfakaniswa, was a respected chief and advisor to the Thembu royal family. But when his father refused to obey a colonial order, he lost his title and his land. The family moved to another village, Kunu, where young Mandela herded cattle, listened to elders under the night sky, and began to dream, not of power, but of dignity and equality. Mandela was the first in his family to attend school. His teacher gave him the English name Nelson. He later studied at Fort Hare University, one of the few universities open to blackened students. But when he joined a student protest, he was expelled. Rather than apologize, he chose to walk away. He moved to Johannesburg, worked as a guard, and later a clerk, and studied law at the University of the Witwatersrand. Each injustice he witnessed fueled his belief that South Africa had to change. In 1948, apartheid became official. It wasn't just racism. It was law. A system built to separate control and silence. Black South Africans couldn't vote, had to carry passbooks to move around, and were forced to live far from their workplaces. Many were arrested simply for walking in the wrong neighborhood. Mandela joined the African National Congress, the ANC. He co-founded its youth league, and together they organized protests, boycotts, and peaceful demonstrations. But the government responded with bullets. In 1960, in the town of Sharpeville, police opened fire on peaceful protesters. 69 people were killed. Most were shot in the back. The tragedy shocked the world. The ANC was banned. Thousands were arrested. Mandela went underground. He knew peaceful resistance alone would no longer be enough. In 1961, he co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, the Spear of the Nation. Their mission was sabotage, not killing. To strike apartheid's systems, not its people. In 1962, he was captured and sentenced to 5 years in prison. But while he was behind bars, police discovered secret documents linking him to planned acts of sabotage. He was tried again in the famous Rivonia trial. Facing the death penalty, Mandela spoke these words: "I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal I am prepared to die for." The court spared his life, but gave him a life sentence instead. He was sent to Robben Island, a cold, isolated prison off Cape Town's coast. His cell was tiny. No bed, no toilet, only a thin mat and a bucket. He spent his days breaking rocks under the hot sun. 1 letter every 6 months, 2 visits a year. He missed his mother's funeral. He missed his son's too. Yet Mandela never broke. He studied, taught, and even learned Afrikaans, the language of his captors. Slowly, he earned their respect. Even in chains, he was leading. After 18 years on Robben Island, he was moved to other prisons. Pollsmoor, then Victor Verster. By then, the world already knew his name. Free Nelson Mandela echoed across nations. In the 1980s, global pressure grew. Countries cut trade with South Africa. Celebrities joined the cause. Mandela was offered freedom, but only if he renounced the struggle. He refused. "I cannot be free," he said, "while my people are not." Then, on February 11th, 1990, after 27 years behind bars, Nelson Mandela walked free. He was 71. He held his wife Winnie's hand, and the world held its breath. "I stand here before you," he said, "as a humble servant of the people." He called not for revenge, but for peace and for unity. Freedom, however, was only the beginning. Apartheid still existed. Mandela began long, tense negotiations with President F.W. de Klerk. For years they talked, through protests, riots, and near civil war. But Mandela never lost his calm. In 1994, South Africa held its first democratic election. For the first time, everyone could vote, black or white, rich or poor. Millions lined up for hours. Many cried as they cast their first ballot. On May 10th, 1994, Nelson Mandela became South Africa's first black president. He didn't celebrate with power. He led with humility. He built a government of reconciliation, inviting even those who once imprisoned him. In 1995, South Africa hosted the Rugby World Cup. Mandela wore the green Springboks jersey, once a symbol of white pride, and handed the trophy to the white captain, Francois Pienaar. The crowd roared his name. That day, a game became a bridge between worlds. Mandela served one term, then stepped aside. He believed true leaders know when to leave. In retirement, he continued his mission for peace, for education, for human dignity. Nelson Mandela passed away in 2013 at the age of 95. Leaders from every corner of the world came to honor him. But his spirit never left us. "It always seems impossible," he once said, "until it's done." A boy from a small village. A man who spent 27 years in prison. A leader who forgave when he could have hated. He turned pain into peace and fear into hope. This was the life of Nelson Mandela, a story of courage, forgiveness, and the power of the human spirit. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out our next video for another inspiring journey in English.